Howdy guys, how's it going? So this is our first big snowfall of the year here in the mountains of Virginia. It just come in last night, and today the low for the night is 24 degrees Fahrenheit, and there's wind gusts of up to 40 miles an hour. That is why I chose this really new growth area to camp. There is some it is like lined around with really tall trees. There's been limbs falling all around here, but based on everything I see, we should be good here. But it's definitely going to be a windy night. Now the wind is coming, like the storm is coming from the south and kind of the southeast. So that's this direction right here. So most of the wind's blocked from that direction. And I also have something I could always take and put up along this wall if I wanted to. But I want to take right now and put my emergency space blanket down on the floor. That way I can get my stuff off the snow, get the sleeping bag rolled out, and then we're gonna get a fire going. Okay, once I get everything settled, as you can see, I got a little flap right here, and I put that there just to give this more of a straight wall. But once I get everything laid out, I'm gonna add more stakes along that upper side, since it's gonna be so windy, and that'll tighten that up a little bit. That way it ain't flapping as much, and there won't be as much tension on each stake point. Bon appetit for later. There was a little timber bundle I brought with me. That's that same wax stuff. With all my gear on the emergency space blanket, I don't think I'm going to have to worry about staking it down. Okay, so I brought out the World War II style down sleeping bag, but I put it in the modern day sleep system stuff sack, just because this is honestly just one of the best compression sacks that you can get out there. And I know I sound a bit rushed, and that's because I am, because we've only got a few more hours of sunlight, and I still got to get quite a bit of firewood, and that's not even considering that we don't have the fire going yet. There's that, and this is our sleep pad, and this is going to be very, very interesting. Big stick over there I missed. I'll get that later. Getting the sleeping pad and the foot area of this thing the right way is a little bit more difficult because of the shape of the foot box. But we definitely want it, and we want it to load up as much as possible. And that's beautiful. Sit on this upper edge here. I'll put this on the lower edge later, but right now, I get that out of the way. So now, we'll put my gloves on and collect some firewood, and then we'll get a fire going in this front area. It's been raining, sleeting, and snowing all day. Even this stuff that I found that was off the ground is very saturated. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to focus on getting the fire going first. And then I'll show you, I'm going to kind of build like a windbreak and a wall there. This fire's going to be pretty close to these trees, but they're green, they're super damp. You ain't got to worry about them catching on fire. Plus, once I'm able to contain it, and most of the wind is coming from this back direction, so it's being blocked, so it should be peaceful. Attention to Act as a very, very minor windbreak. Put that there. Get that going. Go ahead and put some of this other stuff on there so that as that small stuff catches, it'll dry out the next size up. Limb and crap falling all over the place. But so there's a bunch of old dead fallen stuff around here. So I'm gonna try to find some of these like the punkier logs and use those and try to make a barrier, because one, they'll be really damp and wet, so I ain't got to worry as much about them catching fire, and two, they're very readily available, and if I need to use my axe, then I'll be able to do so. Not gonna lie, I don't know if that was worth the effort. Gotta be careful not getting sweaty. Well guys, something interesting and unfortunate happened. I was taking and chopping some logs and my axe handle broke. Now in all honesty, it's not the axe's fault. This is a Wetterling forest axe, and I've had this thing in the same handle for I think probably 8 or 9 years and never changed the handle. And as you can see, I've got 4 or 5 wedges in there, and that just ended up finally being more than this handle could take. So I hate that, but that's another good reason to get out and play around, test your stuff, and kind of figure out what its breaking point is. That way, if you're ever, doing something where it's life or death, you know what to expect. Yeah, so I got this outer wall built up pretty good with all the dead stuff that I could find. I've got a bunch of stuff on the fire right now, kind of drying out. If you noticed that those pair of gloves, I just was in there and I gotta get out, but the pair of gloves I've been wearing right now is just freezing rain and sleet. So I gotta get under there like now before this sweater gets too wet. I got another really thick wool sweater with me, but I gotta get under there and get hydrated, because I did get a bit sweatier than I'd planned, because I hadn't find these and drag them out of the ground. As you can see, a lot of these was really dug in the ground pretty good. So I'm going to get under there, drink some water, and get out of this this sleet and rain for a few minutes. And I'll probably make a cup of tea too here in a bit, but I got to get a lot more firewood before the night gets here, and then I'm not really that hungry right now. I eat quite a bit before I hiked out here, so I'm just going to take and chill out for a bit, and hopefully some of this sleet will hold off. So I had to make a quick shelter adjustment. I took and tied this end out just to allow better airflow in there, because it's not as much, like right now it's smoking a lot because the wood I've got is very damp, but like once I get in there and I got wet clothes on, just the steam and everything else was just taking up the space. So I need something a little bit more open, and for now I'm going to take and leave that bit of airspace down low, but I got to get under here and reposition my emergency space blanket so that everything will fit nice and right. Nothing like a hot cup of herbal tea, man. With some nice winter ambiance. Living the dream. I leaned back, got comfortable, and I dozed off. And then now I'm working on getting my fire back together. It's been about 3 hours. Currently it is, I can't really tell quite yet. It's like 8:30 or 9. I'm definitely very hungry, but I got to focus right now on getting the fire going. Let me take and turn that on. There we go. Like I got to take and make sure that gets taken care of. I got my lantern out. The last thing that I brought with me for a lighting item was a candle, and that's like, you know, obviously I got my headlamp, I got a lantern, and then I got the light on my camera. But I'm gonna get this. I got the candle out. It does have a plastic wrapping on it, so I'm gonna get that out. But as soon as I get the fire reconditioned to where I need it to be, then we'll get to opening up the MRE and getting some dinner in us. Whenever I say that, like whenever I fell asleep, I mean right here, all this side area that I've been traveling has already been covered up. It's actually snowing some more. But I have got a lot of frozen ice, sleet, and snow on the tarp itself since I've been in there. Nothing has got on my ground covering, but I got to take and brush some of this off because I'm not worried about I'm not worried about the rope I'm using or anything else screwing with it, but it's just making it sag. Well, I mean, the main thing is it's just going to be resting on like my face area, which I don't want. So I'm going to get under here. I'm going to reach up, just kind of pat it off. I packed out one single tall candle, like the kind you normally take and like use at a dinner table, but it broke in half, so now I got 2 candles. So I guess it worked out for the best, but still working on getting the fire, you know, like back to where it is supposed to be. I've got well, let me turn the light on. Got a bunch of stuff like back there, like for a long fire configuration, but plenty of things right here to get the initial coal bed back going. I hate that I fell asleep, but I want to get that going just a little bit better, and then we're going to hop into making our MRE meal because I'm extremely hungry. And I've also got to take and get my tripod over there. It is frozen, so I need to bring it over here, collapse it to a smaller size, and make it more usable. I flipped that thing open, and it is like fully iced over. So I'm going to take and set it by the fire, and I'm going to wait for it to thaw out. I might just try to do the MRE meal by hand. So I've got the fire cooking pretty good, which means it is MRE time. One thing that I've definitely considered and noticed since I've been sitting here focusing on the fire, focusing on the sleeping situation, and since we've ended up with the amount of sag that we have in our canvas tarp from all the excess snow and ice accumulation, is I am going to change my sleeping direction. I'm basically going to take and move my ground sheet, the emergency space blanket, to where my feet's going to be resting right underneath this far corner, if that's visible. If not, then I'll show you once it's a full view. And then my head and upper body is going to be more towards the fire, just because that's going to end up being the most comfortable and reliable position. But now, it is time to crack open our food, which I'm dying for. We have an MRE, which is menu number 2, beef shredded. So it's shredded barbecue, and then we'll just have to wait and see what is in it as our sides and our additionals, and then we'll, you know, use the heater and all that good old stuff. The nice thing about these is unlike the dehydrated meals, you don't have to add a whole lot of water to your food just for the heating element. I'm going to burn that because I'm sure we'll end up using everything else. Oh yeah, and also not to confuse anybody, but from one of my last times I was out, I do have a leftover chocolate protein. So it's chocolate protein powder from one that I didn't use, and I'm probably going to end up having that for breakfast either before or after I have my coffee. So, vacuum sealed bag. So there you can see we got our shredded beef and barbecue. That's like the cardboard do-jig. Then we got a tortilla shell. So I guess some people like to eat it with tortilla. Okay, and then we have our condiment pouch, which it's got coffee instant type 2 spray dried net weight coffee. If there's any cream in this, then I will use it for the coffee that I brought, because the coffee from these things are typically not that good. We got chewing gum, we got a napkin. We'll open that up later and see after we get our main stuff done, but let's get all this stuff out of the way. Our secondary item is black beans in seasoned sauce. So that's our secondary item. Cheese spread, very good. Drink pouch. So if we have like a flavored drink, which is normally in here, there's our heater, and we will use that. We got lemonade beverage powder. So lemonade beverage powder is what that clear sack is for. We have a oatmeal cookie, which is never, I think I've never had one of their oatmeal cookies. It is our shredded beef in barbecue sauce. I'm going to take and put the beef stuff on one side and the black beans on the other. Do not overfill, but I ain't gonna lie to you, I normally end up overfilling this a little bit. To make sure that it's covered, and then I'm not gonna be able to turn the camera around because it's tight space, but I'm gonna lean over this log towards the fire, and I'm gonna let that sit for longer than it recommends, because it seems like every time that I do the amount of time it recommends, my food ends up cold. So I'm really curious about this drink mix, because I had forgot that it normally includes a beverage mix. So this is lemonade lime, half a canteen, 12 ounces. Chemically purified, okay. And there's all the nutrition facts for it. Cold, it's windy, I'm hungry, I slept in, I goofed. It's all my fault. But we're going to take and open that up. Well, I spilt some of it, so let's go less than 12. But you know what? If it's got 20 ounces of, not 20 ounces, 20 grams of sugar, it's bound to be overly sweet for my taste, because I'm somebody that I definitely prefer sugar-free drinks. Not for health reasons or weight reasons. I just have got so used to drinking sugar-free drinks. And I guarantee that 60 to 75% of that's just pure sugar. So, let's take and pour in. Next up, we're going to take and seal that bad boy. And then we'll just shake her up. Yeah, it's probably better if we try to put that in our stainless steel cup. Not this one, but the the one that we made our tea in. It is a combination, but let me open this bad boy and see exactly what we got going. I really love that Fox Coranda. Ooh. Okay, so we got our coffee instant type 2 canteen chemically. Okay, so that's just instant coffee. We've got that. Good to know. Then we have our iodized salt, which is also handy to have, a great thing to keep on hand, even if you don't use it for your meal. Then we have creamer, non-dairy. Okay, yeah, we're going to use this creamer for sure with our with the coffee that I brought. And by the way, just to show you beforehand, we get to the morning. I've not tried it before. This is brand new to me, so I'm not saying I recommend it yet. But it is Noel. It's by Folgers, Golden Dusk, medium dark, and there you go. I am pretty particular whenever it comes to my coffee. I do not like instant, so that's what I'm saying. I've never tried this one, but all the instants I've tried before I haven't liked. But this one's normally held in pretty high regards. with that being said, let's continue. We got sweetener. I don't put sweetener in my coffee. We got a towelette, and then we've got some spicy gum. And that is it. And then here is our dessert for the evening. I know I told you about that protein powder, but here's like the other half of that bullet bourbon from the deep underground bushcraft video. So we'll have that for dessert later. Oh, I don't even like my whiskey cold, but I'm going to throw it over there in the snow just so that it can do its thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take and show y'all the sleeping position that I'm going to be in tonight, because once I actually get ready to go to bed, I do not want to have to get comfy and then get back out and get the camera. So if you feel like that takes away from the experience, then I'm sorry. But so originally I was planning on sleeping this direction up towards this end. But as it's still sleeting some, so as this starts to get weighed down more and more, I've done all that I can to support it. The only thing I could have done was like run a center ridge pole, and I could have slept in the configuration that I wanted to, but that's just not an option at this point. So instead, I'm going to sleep up this direction, feet down here. And that's why I've like changed the alignment of my sleeping bag. I've got my head, my upper body towards the fire. And that's like the more common way to sleep in this type of shelter anyways. But I just initially planned to try to do it that way, but we're going to switch it up. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, once again, I have that extra wool sweater. But I'm going to take my boots off. I will set them right here so they can dry on the outside. They're not wet at all. My feet are completely dry. Got wool socks. I do got to figure out where the head of my sleeping bag is. I got to flip her around. There we go. So we're still on our ground sheet. Everything will be a-okay. The only thing that really adds a little bit of difficulty to this is the sleeping pad, just because, to my understanding, the sleeping pads that they used back when this sleep system was an issue, like not an issue, but an issue, was a lot smaller and actually conformed to this overall setup. But essentially, this is a centerfold use one. So the sleeping bag will be zipped up. My feet and everything else is under the tarp on the emergency space blanket. I'll leave this hat on, this wool sweater. If I need to, I can add the other wool sweater, but even once the fire dies down, I don't think I'm going to need that additional heat. I'll just be able to take and, chill out under here. And I've also got, like I said, those trigger mittens if I need them. So I had to take and plug in the camera so it's recording and charging. Hopefully nothing else happens. Who knows? By the time we get this point in the day, it's normally hit or miss. But so this stuff right here is definitely, it's not as hot as it should be, but it seems evenly warm overall. So there's not a lot else I can do since this heater seems to be dicking up. God, I'm really worried that's going to be super unwarm. Like, I mean, definitely not hot, so I'm going to have to eat it fast, which I do not like to do. Anyways, let's take and give her a go. I might take and put the beans It's got the tortilla. You know what? We're going to take and try something new, especially since it's lukewarm. I'm not a big taco guy, but I do enjoy trying new things in these types of environments. So the tortilla itself, there is steam coming out of the bag, which means the heater is working somewhat, but it's not working like it's supposed to. And these things are only about 2.5 to 3 years old. 3 years old in max. So I'm really trying to think about what could be the problem. Should not be able to hold that heater in my hand because it's already been like 30 minutes and I've been touching it ever so often. That is not, you should not be able to do that. I've had them to where just after like 10 to 12 minutes you've not been able, like they've been boiling. But I want to taste these separately before I take and put them on anything. So here's the black beans and seasoned sauce. So I have no clue what this tastes like. It honestly looks like those chili beans that I took and brought out and fixed a while back. So, you know what? It's not that bad. Like, I can take and definitely eat these just with the tortilla shell. Yeah, like a very hearty MRE meal. I can promise you that much. Like, I would not be upset if I got this, unless my heater dicked up, because like if it went to this fire, this stuff right here would be lukewarm at best. So it's got like a sweet barbecue sauce with it. So let's take and try combining these on a tortilla. Kind of got ahead of myself with the beans. I ain't gonna have hardly any beans to put on the other one. It's mainly barbecue, which I'm surprised about. I kind of felt like it would end up being mostly beans. So they might have intended this to be eaten separately, and I don't really want any of that additional barbecue sauce. I'm curious to see what it tastes like, so we might try some on the second tortilla. But I'm gonna take and set that right there, facing the fire. That way that it's not going to heat it up anymore, but it might be able to take and maintain some heat. Okay, I made that a little bit too fat, I think, but so hands down, that is one of the best. That is one of the best MREs I've had, especially with that drink. But I think I do prefer it more separately, like just eat the barbecue by itself and the beans by itself. Okay, so let's put a little bit of the cheese spread right here on the tip of this. I've had the jalapeno cheese spread on other MRE things, and I can't tell you what it was that I really liked it on, but I have started falling in love with hotter things. Bro, that's honestly not bad at all. It's not something that, like, you know, I wouldn't order this at a restaurant or fix it at home, but once again, trying to get maximum calories and stuff, this does not taste bad. God dang, man, my butt cheeks are absolutely iced up. I mean, right now, somebody can take and grab me and molest me, and I wouldn't even be able to tell you if they did. Like that right there is, yep, they're numb. That's just from sitting on this without too much underneath it. And like the most scariest thing that ever happened to me was I was hiking through the woods when I was like 14 or 15, looking for a coyote sign to set some like foothold traps. Well, to get ready to set foothold traps for the trapping season. And no joke, man, I took and I stepped, and I didn't see it, but there was a turkey maybe 1.5 to 2 foot away from me when I made that step, and it took and like flew off right in front of my face. And I mean, I thought I stepped on a goddamn landmine. Like it scared the bejesus out of me. Well, there you go. Got a nice big leaf in there, so that adds flavor, I guess. I'm gonna add a little bit right there, but I don't think I'm gonna need that. Well, I mean, I know I don't need it. I like the way that it is. Yeah, that's too sweet. Just mixing the last little bit of these beans in with the barbecue and seeing how that tastes. I definitely want every last little bit of it, because your boy here slept in and he's hungry. Now, I may have to end up drinking that protein shake before tomorrow. Oh, I forgot about my tortilla. I just dropped it in the dirt. We need to back in. Okay, so now, aside from the chewing gum and the creamer, which I got the creamer in my pocket, we're under here, everything's nice and dry. Besides, I think I'm gonna go out here in a minute after I get done eating this, whatever this is, and try to find some more, well, I don't need it, I don't think, but I want to get some more firewood just to be safe before I end up crawling into my thing, because the sleeping bag should keep me warm just from like the bed of coals and stuff that I got, and the fact that I got a nice belly full of food. And then once we get to our dessert, like I said, we're just here to have a good time. So I'm gonna take and burn that last little piece of plastic right there. I do enjoy military surplus. MRE meals are pretty common. Oatmeal cookie, there we go. That looks and feels, oh, it's hot. Whoo, gee, okay, well that one kicked up pretty fast. This thing feels solid. That does not taste like an oatmeal cookie. That tastes like a straight up sugar cookie. This is going to taste like monkey cheeks with this lemonade lime drink, but that's all I got. So, other than water, but I want to finish this drink for sure. I got a hair in my mouth. Dang, man, that was good. I'm gonna take and finish this lime, lemonade lime, whatever. Try to go out with the headlamp. Just pick up a decent amount more, just like thumb to wrist size things to have right here close by. Just throw in there to get the flames going, and move some of these bigger logs up to where they need to be. And then, yeah, like I said, then we'll get to our main dessert. That cookie was a phenomenal dessert. That's one of the best, like, sugary, sweet type things that I've ever had out of the MRE meal. But I'll get that, and then we'll just chill out here and crawl into the sleeping bag and try to have a good night's rest. Right now, there's no wind. I double checked the weather before. It said that the highest winds that we're supposed to have tonight is 7 to 10 mile per hour until like 10 a.m. tomorrow. And right now it's I think it's about 10 p.m. 10:30. So we'll end up hitting the sack about, probably about midnight. Okay, so here we go. I had crawled into the sleeping bag. Anyways, cheers, guys. I've had a few sips of this. Stoke the fire one more time, and then I'm going to hit the hay, and I will see you guys in the morning for some coffee and maybe that protein shake. Then again, I might take and save it for later because I don't know how that's going to be after I get a good mouthful of that coffee. So, good night. See y'all in the morning. It is currently like right around 2:45, 3 a.m. I just woke up because I was thirsty, so I'm going to get me a sip of water. The fire has basically died out. There is some, there's still a little bit of heat. But I think I'm just going to take and let it go for now. I'll take and start it back up earlier this morning. I'm extremely warm. Everything, no problem. It has snowed and sleeted a bit more. Like there's just a wee bit of snow kind of blowed in on my foot area, but completely warm. Feet are toasty, just one pair of wool socks. So I got the fire, just started it back up, went and got a bunch of small pine limbs. I just want to go ahead and get it up. I'm extremely thirsty. I'm going to take and melt some snow here in a minute. I got just enough left in my metal water bottle, I think, for that protein drink. So I want to get that out. Let me get the tripod set up and then we'll see how that thing tastes. Well, maybe it run away. I'm going to slip on top of it. I sure did. Look at that. Oh, what can you do? Let's take it, put that stuff back before I burn it or lose it or do both. Don't like that. I normally don't like chocolate protein powder, and I've never tried an MRE version, so don't have high hopes for it. We do have coffee for later, but something that's kind of thick. So you tear that little bit off. No joke, that I just had enough water. Okay, we're gonna definitely have to melt some snow now. So then we seal that. Did not shake it up enough. Okay. That is extremely clumpy. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's just way too sweet for my taste, and I'm not even a big fan of the chocolate. So I'm gonna have to let that go. I hate to waste it, but nope, not a fan. It's a very calm and cool morning, but the tarp is completely frozen. And even after clearing it off, that's basically how much snowfall we had last night. And I kind of wormed my way out a wee bit past my past the edge of the tarp in the middle of the night and got a little bit of frost and snow and stuff on that, but feet stay completely dry and warm. One pair of wool socks, so can't complain with that. Oh, it's about time for that morning coffee, baby. So I got my nesting cup packed like really densely with snow. I'm gonna take and let it sit right there, and then I'm gonna push it in underneath a little bit. I want to try to keep as much debris from getting in there as I can, but I'm gonna take and let that melt down. Hopefully there's about 6 ounces of water in that tightly condensed amount of snow, but yeah, it's gonna be close. If not, I'm gonna take and add more to it, but the packs of coffee I have call for 6 ounces of water. So okay, so I also went ahead and filled up my my stainless steel bottle with snow too. It's a little bit harder to compact it, so I know I'm gonna have to take and do a couple trips to get that thing full. But I don't know why, man, but I am just thirsty as I'll get out. And those 2 or 3 mouthfuls of that protein shake I took did not help whatsoever. So I really want to take and get get some aqua in me ASAP. But we actually ended up getting quite a bit of powder. A lot of it didn't really accumulate as much on the tarp as much fell, but I'm just getting that powder and compacting it. It's extremely clean, pure. There's really no need to boil it. There's been no animals or nothing through here since it's fell, and there's really not even any debris in it. So I went out, I added more snow to the cup and the bottle. After the stuff in the bottle melts, I think I'm just going to take and focus on melting snow, and that's a lot faster, but it's way easier to pack snow into that cup. So after we have our coffee, that is what we're going to try to do. Up top there, I got to be honest with you, right now it is like almost unbearably hot under here. It's about 25 degrees at the moment. There's no wind, but I'm kind of like curled up away from the fire because it is yeah, I guess it's hot. So there's going to end up being about 16 ounces of water in there after all that's melted. I'm sure some will evaporate once I get it to I'm not going to boil it because it's clean. I'm just going to take and pour what I don't need into that bottle and then set it in the snow, and then hopefully after what's melted in that bottle and that, we'll have about another 16 ounces of water that I can drink. Got about up to honestly about where that line is of snow melted in there of fresh water. I just got it sitting on snow. Hopefully I'll cool it off a little bit. Coming over here, yeah, my tripod is still, like, a lot of the plastic components are still frozen, so I don't want to risk breaking anything, so we're just going to freehand it But I've got that nice and melted down. We got about 16 ounces. Got some nice, you know, debris floating in there from the fire. Yeah, just starting to see some bubbles on the bottom. So I'm gonna take, god dang, let me just get all this crap in there. I'm gonna take and pour a little bit, because like right at the 16 ounce mark. First we got our coffee going in. Look at that, by God, am I a professional? Look at that, I stopped it. I meant, that's it right there, there's a little party trick. Oh, it's hot. Oh, yep. Let's not melt my tarp. Finally, put the creamer in and call it a day. I've been looking for this thing, but it is a spoon, fork, knife do-jig that folds up pretty compact, so this would be so much easier if my tripod wasn't frozen. Okay, you know what? That doesn't look too shabby. Let me stir it up a little bit more. Okay, so we got that mixed up. Like I said, doesn't look too shabby. Let's see how she tastes. Got a good, nice piece of ash in there. Well, you know, I'm pretty used to like good, you know, a nice, good Colombian blend out of a Keurig as far as coffee goes, but I mean, that's definitely drinkable. I don't know, I think the creamer is what's kind of really toning it down a bit as far as flavor goes. Still a really nice morning pick-me-up. I like that it's not, I was worried that with both of these being like a, you know, a powdered mixture, that it would be like having like a thickness to it, but that's not bad. Not bad at all. So I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to take and hopefully have a nice 16 ounces of cold water to put down the hatch, because I'm just really thirsty. Yeah, so this is the last look at the camp. It is about 6:45, 6:50. It's very overcast right now, so between that and then whatever my exposure is doing, it looks a lot darker. It looks a lot darker than it actually is. So I just got out from underneath there. It's extremely, extremely warm. I actually had to take and drape my leather jacket over my legs just to keep a lot of that radiant heat off of me. But I'm happy he was able to join me for this one. Get everything packed up and hike out. But until the next one, guys, adios.